Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. On today's episode, we'll be looking on how we can convert our hybrid DVR to an NVR, how we can use this DVR to connect our IP camera. So before we proceed, the components that we'll be making use today is our DVR, is our hybrid DVR that can work for both analog camera and IP camera. So in our last, I will implore if you missed the last episode, you can go back and watch how we can connect our analog camera to the DVR. So on today's episode, we'll be looking at how we will connect our IP camera to the hybrid DVR, digital video recorder. So we'll be making use of this hybrid DVR that can work for both analog and our IP camera. So we'll be making use of our IP camera, and also these are the IP camera. This is a panoramic camera 360 degree, and this is a typical example of a bullet camera, IP camera. Then this is also a typical example of a dome camera, and it's also an IP camera. Also, we'll be making use of our router, internet router, and also we'll be making use of our switch, 5-port switch from TP-Link. Also, we'll be making use of our cables. This is Ethernet cable already crimped, and we'll also show how we can crimp our cable by using our RJ45 connectors. Also, we'll be making use of our central power system. This is our power supply box, 18-way, 18-channel. We'll be making use of our computer system, how we'll be able to log in to our IP camera and give it a unique IP address, or we can simply use a dynamic IP or a static IP, either using a static or a DHCP. So let's proceed. Now, how we are going to connect all the components together. When looking at this DVR, this hybrid DVR, we will notice that we only have one RJ45 connector, which means that if we want to connect more than one camera, because this particular port can be connected to one camera, if at all we want to connect an IP camera to it. So if we want to connect more than one camera, IP camera, then what we are going to use is to use our switch. This is our hub. So our network architecture is going to go like this: from our router to our hub, which is our switch, then connected to our DVR, which is our RJ45 port here. Then camera will be connected to the hub. We are making use of this central power supply box. It is 12 volts central power supply box. All the cameras are also 12 volts. Our internet modem is also 12 volts. Our hybrid DVR is also 12 volts, meaning that all our components here are all 12 volts except our internet, except our hub, which is our switch, which is 5 volts. So now let's start the connection. So this is our central power supply box, which is a 18-way power supply box. So as you all can see, we can generate a 12 volt each on the ports. Then let's power. This is 12 volts connected to the power supply box. This is also 12 volts. This is also 12 volts, all connected to one output of the box. So one of these will power our router. As you can see, the router is up and working, and also one of it will power our recorder, which is also 12 volts. We can see the recorder is up and working. And last but not the least, our camera will be connected also to 12 volts. As we can see, the camera is up. I am blocking the sensor to show that the camera infrared light is up. So all the components are currently up. The router, the recorder, and also our power supply box. Now let's connect our switch, which is 5 volts, to a 5 volt adapter. So we can see the 5 volts switch or hub is connected to the source and is up and working. So let's try to make a connection between all the components. Like I said earlier, from our switch, the switch will be connected. We have two ports there. One is LAN and one is telephone. So we connect our cable to the LAN port. Then we connect the other end to our switch. We can see the communication light indicator showing that there is a communication between the router and the modem and the switch. So our DVR will be connected. The only LAN port we have on the DVR will be connected to the switch. We can see there is a communication line between the DVR and our switch. Okay, so the next is to connect our camera to the switch. This is the camera port, RJ45 port. The camera has been connected. As you can see, the light, the indicator that shows that the camera port is connected to the switch. You can also see from the switch, the blinking shows that there is a communication between these devices. So the camera has been connected to the switch, the DVR has been connected to the switch, and also the router has been linked to all the devices. So the next is to connect or try to configure our camera by using our computer's laptop, okay, the next step is to configure our IP camera and give it a specific IP address so that we'll be sure of our IP address, the IP assigned to our camera. Either we use a DHCP or we use a static IP address, we will know from the configuration of the camera. So what I need to do now is to connect my computer to the internet router. So everything will be on the same network. They are all going to be on the same network. So I can connect my computer either through the LAN port connected to this switch or through the wireless, which is this particular name of my internet, which is Swift 4G Lite 0598. So you can see my computer is already connected because I have connected my computer in the past with this particular router. So it means that all my devices are now connected together. Now let's proceed. So actually what I do most is to use my Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer that comes from the Microsoft is actually the best for streaming and for configuration of our cameras. We can as well use our Chrome, but I prefer to use Internet Explorer. So let's proceed. So this is my Internet Explorer, and let's try to know if we have connected all our devices together. So currently I want to log into this our internet router, and by checking the information on the router we can get to know the IP address of the router. So this is our website on the router, homerouter.cpe. So let's try to log in and type the website on our Internet Explorer and see if we are going to have access to the page. So homerouter.cpe. Let's try to impute again, homerouter.cpe. Okay, so this is the Swift 4G Lite interface. You can see the name. So there is a user name and a password attached to every router, so it's on the sticker here. So let me impute the username and the okay, so we have access to our router. So it means that my computer is connected to this device, this internet router. So let's try to check if others devices has been connected to the router. So I'll come to the product information, so I'll be able to see the information of the okay. We can see we have two devices, my computer and one device which is our camera. So connected through the Ethernet, we can see my computer is connected through the Wi-Fi, and the camera is connected through the Ethernet. So we can see the IP address there, 192.168.1.3. so let me try to impute the IP address and see if I'll be able to access the camera. 192.168.1. Okay, sorry. That's 1.3. Okay, 192.168. 192.168.1.3. Okay, sign in to access this site. So for username and the password, the username and the password is embedded on is on the sticker of the camera. So for every camera manufacturer, they have their own specific username and the password. So you can refer to the camera manual for the username and the password. For this particular camera, I will insert the username and also the password. So we can see a megapixel IP camera. So this is the camera. We have access to the camera platform already, but for the first time you open the browser, please download and install FActiveX2 and download and drag ActiveX. Okay, that's it. So the plugin has been downloaded and we need to open and install the plugin. So we need to install because we are using it for the first time. So let's install the plugin. Okay, so after downloading and installing the ActiveX, then we can now come to stream type and show. So you can see the camera is up and is working. So we can come to the settings. So these are some of the informations of the camera, from the version to the time zone. So if you want to set up the camera, you can proceed. For example, this is the time. If you want to set the time, so the default is GMT +8, so you can set it to whichever GMT you want to set it. Then that's that. Then you can also go to an advanced settings. If you want to upgrade the firmware version of the camera, you can as well do that from here. So you can come to other settings, which is network. So the camera is on DHCP, which means that this internet router will be the one to assign an IP address for this camera. So if we change it from DHCP to off, it means that, as we can see, it means that this camera will be assigned 192.168.1.3 permanently. That will be the IP address of this camera. So that's the difference between DHCP and static IP. So the camera also has a Wi-Fi, which we are not going to talk about now. So if we put the camera on .1.3 and we save it, the camera is going to reboot. We can give it any IP address of our choice, provided it's not going to be conflict with our network. So this is .3. I can decide to give it .9. Then I'll save. System settings succeeded. System will start. We switch to a new IP. Okay. If we put OK, you can see it's automatically logged me out and is asking me to log in again. You can see the IP address has automatically changed as well from .3 to .9 now. So if I should impute our username and the password, then we'll be able to access. Sorry, I'm imputing the wrong one. So we'll be able to access the camera. You can see. So it's loading. Come to the mainstream as well, the MPG. So you go back to the settings and you can see the IP address now has changed to .1.9. If you come to network, you will see that the camera IP has been permanently assigned So this camera is having .1.9 permanently now. So that is how to change. That is how to change from DHCP to static IP. So these are some of the other settings of the camera, which we won't be going there today. We have video and audio. We have some other features there where you can just set up your camera, where some features like motion detection, privacy mask, or etc, etc. So now we need to go back and connect our camera. It has been connected through the switch and the hub to this, so we need to put it on the screen and connect everything to the screen, so we'll be able to navigate. And you can see the television, the monitor has been connected to our hybrid DVR. You can see it's 4 channels. So, and currently we can't view any camera right now because the mode of the DVR is currently on only analog camera system. So we have to change the mode in order to accommodate an IP camera system. So I need to log in. So need to change channel configuration. You can see channel 1, 2, 3, 4. They are all in AHD, analog high definition. So it means that all the 4 channels can be connected only to analog camera. So let me change channel 1 to IP. So we have 2, 2. Then let me confirm. Pause. The DVR is rebooting in order to make the new changes to have effect. Have these 2 channels to be AHD. So these are analog, and this is also analog. So this is IP, this is IP. So let's try to add our IP camera. So I need to log in again. Okay, you can see the IP address of the camera, which is 192.168.1.9. So let's try to add the camera. Wow, finally our camera is up, and you can see so this is the camera. Finally we are able to add our IP camera system to our IP camera to our hybrid